Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Valentina. If you're new here on my channel, we talk about lifestyle, beauty, and sometimes skincare. If that is something that may interest you, please consider subscribing. Today's video is gonna be a bit more of a girl talk because we're talking about the menstrual cup. Two things about this video before we start. First, I'm not a doctor, so I highly suggest that you talk to your OBGYN or your GP before deciding if you want to use a menstrual cup or not. I'm here to talk about my experience. I'm not gonna tell you what type of cup is better for you. Second thing, we're talking about periods and stuff, and obviously it's a menstrual cup. So if your plan is to leave a nasty comment, just don't and skip this video. Without any further ado, let's get started. I wrote down some notes, so excuse me if I'm looking down. I did this video already and it was supposed to be up last week, but I didn't. I always know that when I'm doing these sort of videos, it's better if I take notes so I can follow whatever I say makes more sense instead of going from one thing to the other and back to the other thing and then back to another thing. I'm recording this again in order for it to make more sense. First of all, for the ones of you that never saw a menstrual cup, this is how a menstrual cup looks like. I've been using the cup for about a couple of years now, and this is a video that I actually wanted to do before, back when I decided to use the cup. Actually, back when I started to hear about the menstrual cup, I was one of those that was like, what the hell is a menstrual cup? And plus it looked like a very weird thing to wear during my period. So I was like, I don't think this is something that is gonna work. Plus, I never had a nice experience with tampons, so I always dismissed it. Once I realized how many pads I was actually using, so I decided to change to the menstrual cup. Those 5 days were horrible because I was either using a pad, I was either using a tampon, and both of them were just making me feel so gross. Those 5 days of the month are already 5 days where you feel gross anyway and you feel discomfort anyway. Since I started using the cup, I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I can still do sports if I want to do sport. I can still go for a run if I want to go for a run. Working in a restaurant and being on your feet 12 hours a day and having to run around is already tiring. Plus, when you're on your period, you feel even more tired. Plus, wearing a tampon or a pad, it creates even more discomfort. With a cup, a complete different story. Another reason why I decided to go towards the cup was for economic reason. If you think about how much money you're spending in a year, let's say in a year, okay, for pads or tampons is 10 times more than what you would spend for a cup, because this one in the specific is the Diva cup. One cup costs between, I would say, 15 to 25 pounds. I haven't seen a cup more expensive than 25 pounds, and a menstrual cup can last up to 10 years. The only thing you have to do is when you finish your period, you sterilize it. So what I do, I put the cup on the stove. From the moment it boils, I count 15 minutes. I take it out, it dries, and then I put it back in the little bag that it comes with, and then it's ready to use for my next period. There's many different types of cups. What I found really helpful, my friend added me into this group on Facebook where the admins are actually midwives or nurses, people that know what they're talking about. There is a test that you can do, and where they ask you if you had kids, if you didn't have kids, how long is your cervix. I don't want to say something stupid, but I think it's that. And they check all of your answers, and then they suggest what type of cup can be best for you. It depends from many things. My cup is the Diva Cup 2, and the reason why I went with number 2 is because when I started using the cap, I was around 30 years old. And the number 2 is suggested if you are over 30 or if you had children before. So I guess everything starts getting loosened down there as well after a certain age. I got mine off of Amazon, but I saw that, like, for example, in some organic shops, they do sell certain caps. What I suggest is not going with a random cap, but to do your research, ask to people that have had experiences with caps before, as someone who has like knowledge about menstrual cups. If you pick the wrong one and it's not gonna fit you right, and you're just gonna feel a lot of discomfort, you're just gonna go like, you know what, this is not for me. Maybe it's really not gonna be something for you. But I do also believe that there's so many caps, like sizes and, you know, sort of shape. I mean, the basic shape is the same, but like, you know, softer, harder, with the stem a little bit longer, with the stem a little bit shorter. You can cut the stem if it bothers you. So there's so many options for caps out there that I do believe that there's a cap for everyone. How does a cap work? The reason why I was a bit reluctant from starting using a cap is because actually the mechanics, let's say, is very similar to a tampon. I'm one of those that could never use a tampon. I don't know if I was not inserting right, or if I just my body was rejecting the tampon. I don't know. The main difference, I think, between the tampon and the cap is that with the tampon, basically the tampon absorbs all the discharge that you have during your period. What the cap does is collecting all the discharge inside. You're not gonna have like a tampon that gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more it absorbs. This is the size of the cap, and this is how the cap is going to remain for the whole time that you have it inserted. Nothing apart from the silicone is gonna be in contact with your skin. I think this is also like a bonus in terms of like being more hygienic, I guess. The cap, I can leave it on for up to 12 hours. To be honest, sometimes I forgot I had it on. They say that you can keep the cap on up to 12 hours. I don't know if the limit is because of hygiene reasons or because of how much the cap feels. That again depends from person to person. Women that have more discharge, they will have to empty the cap more often. How do you empty the cap? So when you insert the cap, you basically, there's many different folds. The one that I personally use is called the Tulip Fold, if I'm not wrong, where you basically, so it's rounded, and then you basically fold, so it becomes like a tulip, like so. Let me show it to you a little bit closer. And then you insert it in, so you basically squat, you insert it, and then you basically let go. And what happens is that this part of the cap creates a seal with your cervix. So whatever discharge you have is gonna go straight in the cap. As long as the seal stays and you don't break the seal, whatever the discharge is gonna be collected in the cap. When it's time to empty it, what I feel like is the easiest thing to do, I either pinch the bottom to release the seal, or I just go like this at the top, and the moment you release the seal, basically the whole cap, the cap is gonna just come out. So you just have to pull the cap out and the cap is gonna come out. During your period, you don't have to sterilize the cap every single day. What you do during your period, you empty the cap, give it a rinse, and put it back in. The reason why I like the fact that you can keep it on for 12 hours is that obviously if you're using a public toilet, you like, it's not really something that is like doable. I think I've never done it. Just make sure that like before I leave the house, I just rinse my cap and it's freshly emptied, and I don't have to think about it for the rest of the night till I come back home. As far as I know, any woman can wear a cap as long as like you had your first period. Even if you're 13, you can start wearing the cap. I hope this video was informative. Again, a little bit different from what I normally do, but I do feel that like these are things that we have to talk about anyway, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. We are women, we do have periods, and having a period is uncomfortable as it is. If we can make it a little bit less uncomfortable, then why not? This is it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell down below so you're gonna be notified every time I do upload a new video. Share this video so it can reach as many women as possible. Let's start using the cup a little bit more. We avoid 10 years of waste coming from our periods. Again, ask for a professional opinion, do your research, and if you feel like it's for you, start using it and you will not regret it. Go and follow me on my social media, so Instagram and Facebook. I'm gonna leave the links down below. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.